here's my Jalen Green rant. Okay. Why are we acting like this kind of player can't succeed, isn't a winner because he goes to a terrible rebuilding team with no winning kind of players, all youth, and we're acting like this is who he's going to be his whole career? We've already done this song and dance. We did it with Devin Booker. We did it with Anthony Edwards. We did it with Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine maybe hasn't won as many games as he would like throughout this, part of his career, but I don't think through much fault of his own. Once these guys get good players around them, you start going, oh, they actually are viable players that could take your team to a certain level. It all depends on the fit and what your organization does. Jalen Green, do not sell your stock. This kid is unbelievably talented. And I think he's the type of worker that is going to continue to want to get better and better and better. I think Udoka is a terrific coach for him. I think he'll respond to that kind of coaching. And I just don't understand why we have to just shit on a young player like this because he's not, playing at an all NBA level his second year in the league. Like this dude's career is going to be so long and he's going to have so many opportunities to get better and be put in positions to win. It's just early. So we got to calm down, pump the brakes a little bit on not acting like this dude doesn't have an opportunity to continue to grow and get better and contribute to winning.
I completely agree. I talked to a buddy of mine who, remember when the Ignite with Jalen Green and Kuminga, they were having those scrimmages and like scouts couldn't go. He actually coached in those scrimmages and he called me like after the first day and was like, I thought he was just going to be raving about Jalen Green. He just like, oh, Kuminga's a monster. He's something special. Someone's going to be patient with him. And then I was like, well, what about Jalen Green? And he goes, the kid's a stud. He's going to be an absolute machine at the NBA level. It's just, when does he figure it out? And I mean, like his second year, he just turned 21 in February. His second year in the league, he averaged 22 a game. Obviously, Houston is just incredibly raw with their, timeline. But like, I'm like you, like absolute monster. Let's give him some time to figure it out. I mean, I'm not trying to compare him to this guy, but like Kobe averaged 19 a game in his third year. Like his second year, he was at 15. Like it takes time with some of these young guys, especially when you're trying to be the go-to offensive force for a team and be that guy. Like it takes a while to figure it out. And I think Jalen's going to be a monster. I just think we got to pump the brakes and let him find his groove.
We have to find the fit and the roster and the construction around him.
Yes.
Look, Kevin Porter Jr., really talented. Not the type of point guard I want next to Jalen Green. I mean, this is a team that the whole entire discourse about them was how much of like a disaster organizationally things have been. Like that doesn't just fall on a 21-year-old kid in his second year in the league. That's a top-down type of thing. And that's why you hire Ime. So he can potentially fix that. And look, I don't think it's going to turn around right away. Maybe if they sign Fred VanVleet and maybe some other vets or whatever and to help that out. But like even the Celtics, when they went to the finals, was that a fun team to watch the first half of the year?
No.
They were
horrendous.
They were not good. Like
it was horrendous.
I think, we see the final version where, they were competing with the Warriors in the finals. And we look at Ime and his style and we go, oh, this is great. It's going to be great for them. But I think it's going to be a process because they're younger and less mature in basketball years than those Celtics teams were, who were still young. Like those guys still are young and learning. So, but they were vets already, at least. It's going to be, I think even more of a learning curve for this young team to learn how to play the right way and be professionals every single night. But these are guys that I think are worthwhile investing in Şengün, Jabari, Jalen, Amen, Cam. And now it's just fitting pieces around them in a real tangible way.
It's really tough to be patient as fans. And we have at No Ceilings, everyone has their own team that they root for, that we grew up rooting for, but we always are now paying attention to every team because we're rooting for all these guys to have success. But like, I am not worried about Jalen Green at all. Like,
No.
not whatsoever. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he's going to be a stud. But like, I've talked to NBA execs before, I've talked to GMs, and they're like, 3 years. Everyone waits 3 years to reevaluate the progress of a talent. And if you're looking at it from a year by year basis, like Jalen Green is on the right path. Now it's just, this is where you get that next leap. Like, this is, I believe Cade Cunningham's going to be a monster this year for Detroit. I think Jalen Green's going to take that next step to where maybe he's putting up 25 a game more efficiently. Like, Houston's goal this year, and I don't want to like upset Rockets fans, but like, if they're picking 10th next year in the draft, they should be very pumped because that's a humongous leap forward for that team. Like,
well, Oklahoma City will be picking for them in that scenario.
Yeah, sorry. Well, you know what I'm just saying? Like, yeah, record wise,
yeah,
like they just need to get to that point, and it's not happening overnight. Like, you want this, the goal this year is that Jalen Green takes that step, and it's like Jalen Green's the franchise piece we thought he was going to be, and they all take these strides. Jabari takes another step where he's like, okay, there's number 2. Şengün has a great year. They have so much talent on that roster. Just let it get a little bit more time. And I understand, like, at some point you do need to add some vets. You do need to get some strategic pieces around to kind of help that roster and that locker room. So if they go get Dylan Brooks or Van Vliet, it makes some sense to me.
Yeah. Look, you got to season it a little bit.
Yep.
Right. You got to let it cook. You got to let it marinate. And then eventually you're going to have a meal.